Hopefully. There we go.
Really?
You're there.
Okay, we're back live. Is the mic working?
Double checking, making sure. Dun, 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 dun. Yep. How about you talk?
The snowman in the
Yep,
yard
we're
is
good.
frozen hard.
So
We are
part
back
2 of
on
You're No
Denim
Good.
Pearls. You're no good, you're no good, you're no
No
good.
good.
Baby, you're no good. So,
Say it again.
no.
We don't know what happened. We totally lost mics and everything else. It was really weird.
So, we are going to start not at the beginning.
No, we're not.
We're just going to keep going.
We're just going to keep going.
Okay, so Brian's been referring to a video that we were watching on some platform about Linda Ronstadt, and we thought the title "You're No Good" would work because she has met people, although very successful, met people who kind of shoved her off because she didn't write her own songs, or she covered other people's songs, or they wanted to branch off, not be her cover band or her backup
I think
band.
a lot of it was creativity. I think it was artistry.
Yeah, so let it be.
It was a difference in artistry.
So back to that conversation. If you want to see the beginning of it, the first 10 minutes.
Go to part 1.
Go to part 1.
Or I'll combine them later on and we'll make it
Yeah.
part 1 and we'll make it all part 1.
Okay, good.
Because I don't want everything we said to go to waste, because there was really some good stuff in there.
Was there?
So while we're at it, hi again. I'm Brian Swanson.
I'm Denim and Pearls. I'm Dr. Michelle Moroz. We are Denim and Pearls. We are business casual with pearls of wisdom.
With pearls of wisdom.
From the porch.
Awesome. So don't forget to like and share, even though we screwed everything up. But like and share, comment, ask us what the heck we're talking about.
We didn't screw anything up. The system just stopped working.
And I rebooted too.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I rebooted before we started. So I don't know what happened. But that doesn't matter.
We are live again. We are live again.
Live. We're live again. That's all right. Nobody's watching anyway.
No one's there today.
If you're there, comment.
So, anyways, a season.
Oh, yes. That's all what we were in the middle of was a reason, a season.
Or lesson.
A reason, a season, or lesson. So if you listen to the first part, we started this conversation and Michelle was telling us that everybody comes into our lives for a reason.
A season or a lesson.
Or a lesson. So it can be long, short, or just, even if you bump across somebody on the street, they say that something about them rubs off on you. Maybe it's not the dust and the dog hair, but there's something about their personality that rubs off on you, even if you bump into somebody on the street. Maybe it's the way they say hi. Maybe it's the way they say, good afternoon, I'm sorry, or I'm not sorry. I love people like that you say, hey, how you doing today? Well, you have a nice day too. Yeah. That makes people think, because they're expecting something negative to come back at them, and you just tell them have a nice day, and they're perfectly, they change their attitude.
But thinking of reasons, seasons, or lesson, Brian and I were just on a radio show with Magic Mark.
Magic Mark.
On gnarly101.com.
Yeah, gnarly101.com. It is a radio show.com, radioshow.com. It is not live broadcast. It's live on air, but it's not live broadcast.
But the show is called Driving with Your Eyes Closed. And so he interviewed us both. So the first hour is Brian. The second hour, there's like an intro with Denim and Pearls. And then the last hour is with me. And a reason, a season, or a lesson. Brian met Mark years ago at Galaxy Fest. And
he was one of my vendors.
Yeah. And then he came back and said, hey, I want you on the show. And then he accidentally met me because he was talking to Brian in the car. And he goes, well, then I want you on the show too. And so you never know when you're meeting someone what you're meeting them for. And although Mark was a vendor at Galaxy Fest years ago, he never forgot Brian or Linda, Brian's old partner. And he wanted them both on his show, that he's just started this new show. So there was a reason that he met this vendor years ago, because this vendor is an all 80s station. That's all he plays. And we had so much fun with him. And so
it was gnarly.
That's the reason. They met as a vendor completely different venue, completely different world. Mark was doing what, like fire safety or something.
Firearms, like, weapons,
Yeah.
two-way stuff.
And now he's on a radio. So it's like, wow. Years later, he says, I'm going to find people who touched my life in some way, shape, or form.
And it's really cool when
That
you're at
was
the
the
top of that
reason.
list.
That was the reason.
Yeah, and we were at the top of that list.
You were.
We, and then Linda and I
You
were at
and
the top of that list, but he didn't know we had gone our own ways business-wise.
But
So
that's it. Just like we were talking about Linda Ronstadt. Brian and Linda parted ways. They're not enemies. They just parted ways. They're doing their own thing now.
Linda and the Eagles.
And then with me, it was Gary Barnes. He and I were always together, and now he's gone his way and I've gone my way. There's no bad blood. We just grew separately, and it's okay. And that's what I wanted to talk more about with you today is not every breakup is a bad breakup, okay? And they don't have to be. You once loved a person doesn't mean you have to hate them when you're no longer together.
Well, that's the burning bridges part.
Yeah, just don't.
I mean, we
that.
use that phrase all the time about burning bridges, especially when it comes to business or a job. You don't want to torque off the business, and you're the guy that's paid you for the last 5 years. Just separate and just go your own way.
Let them.
Yeah, rather than burning bridges, because once you burn the bridge, you never can go back over it.
Yeah, because you'll never know. I mean, I used to work with Sure Success Auctions, okay? And we parted ways. I'm no longer an auctioneer, but we're still friends, and they still will refer me, and I still refer them as auctioneers. And that's the power of being an adult and letting people go their own way, and you go your own way without
power of adulting.
Yeah, without hardship, just realizing you're just at different crossroads in your lives and you just separate. Doesn't mean that those roads won't come back together again for some other reason. And I am a big believer in never breaking a bond with someone just because you're not thinking the same way anymore.
Yeah. Well, I'm not used to it, so maybe you can refer to it better than I can, but I see it a lot of it in like sisters or mother and daughter kind of thing, where there's one big blow up fight, and then they don't talk for the next 30 years, and then they take that anger to their grave. I didn't have a sister I have one now, but I didn't have a sister to fight with when I was growing up so that we could torque each other off and never talk to each other again.
And see, my family, we're big enough that, yeah, you can get upset with someone, but you just keep moving. And that was before. Let's just keep going.
Yeah. So, I mean, so for me, it's a different circumstance, but I can relate to it just because of the fact that I've had other people in my life that we've had fights and then made up at one point or another. But I'm such a nice guy. I don't have too many of those. What?
That's so funny.
I don't have many enemies.
I don't have a lot of enemies that I'm aware of. I'm pretty sure you've got enemies that you're not aware of.
I don't have any kids that I'm aware of.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing is don't burn bridges, and sometimes people just grow away from each other, and that's okay. And don't hold the hardships on it. And I've always had problems with people. I mean, my husband laughed at me because at our wedding, my boyfriends all came to the wedding together, and I have a picture with me and my old boyfriends, and we were laughing about it because I'm still friends with everyone I've ever dated. Not, I can count them on one hand, okay, so it's not a big deal. But I always believe that if you cared about someone the first time,
are you supposed to remember this?
Well, if you cared about someone the first time, it's really, really difficult in my mind to hate them unless they've hurt you so badly that there's no recourse. And then that's a different story. But just because you break up or whatever, it's like, you're human, I'm human, we make mistakes, we do stupid things, move on.
We just don't look at it that way sometimes. We look at it too emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And it's heart-wrenching until time passes, and time heals all wounds.
Yeah, and not all wounds actually, but that's why I always tell people, how are you still talking to that person? Weren't you dating? Yes, I cared about them before, and I still care about them for the same reasons. We just weren't going the same direction. We're no longer together.
We just didn't need to get married.
Yeah, that's pretty much. And in this case, with business-wise, get married business-wise, it's like you can let people go. It's okay.
Somebody's hurting.
Yeah, I broke 3 ribs, and it's really difficult to sit. So I keep trying to move, and
I think you hurt yourself just so you have more stories to tell. You needed new material, so
I
you
needed new
broke your
material,
ribs.
broke ribs. And now, just got a FYI, when you break ribs, it's not just the ribs you break. It since they're all connected. Ooh, that's a really good analogy. Since those
Mm.
3 ribs are connected to the rest of my ribs, it feels like the ribs on my back are out too, and the ribs on my right are out. But it's only the 3. But they've shifted everything. So that analogy is just because you have a break in a relationship or a friendship or whatever, it has an after effect. So a good analogy on that is
I'm waiting on you to go.
okay. The good analogy is friends who have gotten divorced. I have a friend who, let's say a friend, I'll choose one, friend who got divorced. When they got divorced, all of their marriage friends didn't know what to do. Do they pick the man or the woman?
Well, we had a
And-
friend. We had somebody did that, and one of them came to us and said, "Are you still going to be my friend?"
Yeah, so it's like the ribs. That one rib broke, and it affected all the other ribs, all the other relationships that are connected to that one rib. And it's like, do you let all the ribs go because the one break? No. You fix the one break or you mend it and let all the other ones come back into play.
We have talked about so many songs. You've used so many song references today. I just have kept my mouth shut on them.
Yeah, I'm in pain, so my brain's kind of all over the place. But right?
Yes.
Just because you break one rib doesn't mean you don't throw out the entire rib cage and say, "Yep, that's all gone. Need a new rib." No, you mend the one rib.
I don't know, with the way this stuff is made these days. Sometimes it's cheaper to buy a new one
I'm talking
throw it away.
I'm talking human relationships, okay? But that's a really interesting analogy. I'll have to play with that one. But yeah, just because there is one breakup doesn't mean it can't mend, doesn't mean that rib will never be in play again, but don't get rid of the rib cage. Ooh.
When's there a song called "Mend a Broken Heart"?
No, I don't know that one.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Well,
I just
anyways,
can't think of it right now.
yes, I'm in pain, and Michelle keeps shifting because her back is now feeling like her ribs are sticking out of her back. Hopefully,
Yeah,
they
you
aren't.
weren't doing so. You were doing fine earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the chair.
I think it's the way I'm sitting. But anyways, I am trying not to look like I'm in pain. So, do you have a relationship that you think is no good, no good, no good, baby? It's no good. What?
Say it again.
No good, no good, no good. But
I think we've covered a lot of stuff, but it's really there's so much to it. It can be so deep, and we can use so many different examples, whether it's in the music line or whether it's in a relationship line, or if it's in that climb to fame, which is a lot of times where you lose it. I've been in businesses where they say you need to get rid of your friends in order to grow your business. Well, I'm a big disbeliever in that one. However, there are people in your lives that you probably don't need to spend so much time with anymore. But to just give everybody up is kind of a difficult from that statement.
Yeah. But you can walk away
there are
from
some
things that are negative. Yeah.
You can walk away from some, that especially those negative suckers or those positive suckers.
And just a weird segue. Brian and I are both in a book together. It's our first book together. We're in The Art of Connection, 365 Days of Abundance Quotes by Entrepreneurs, Business Owners, and Influencers. And you can find it on Amazon, or you can write us and say, hey, how do I get your book? We can figure that part out. And what was really cool about this book is you get these opinions and quotes, 365 of them, from people from around the world. And we all share, our lessons learned in our lives, a quote that kept us going. And I look back at some of those quotes and some of the people in there. I'm like, these are some of the people in there I knew. And I still kind of know them, but we've grown apart. But to see them in the book and see them still prospering, and it's just so cool to see. It brings joy to my heart to know that even though I don't know them anymore, and we're not together all the time anymore, that they're still growing and learning.
Well, we all do. Unless we go down the other road, but for the most part, we all grow as we grow older.
And so what I'm getting back
grow
at
smarter.
is the people that you're no longer with, were they a reason, a season, or a lesson? What lesson did you learn? and be happy for them in whatever world they're in.
I just read a post on somebody the other day, or from somebody. I think it was actually yesterday. Somebody made a post, and I remember who it was, but I'm not going to mention it. But it was a post that said, it's really kind of a neat way to see the career paths of the people we grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about this one person that was 15 years ago in high school, and this person was one of the things that, she was really quiet and subdued, and nobody never paid attention and didn't give anybody the time of day. Now she's a porn star.
Oh, I have a girl like that from high school. She was really quiet.
I don't know how much truth there was in the story if it was somebody else's.
I went to high school with a gal.
Funny.
She was very quiet, very sweet, very wallflowery. And at my wedding, the guys all went out to a strip club, and she was on stage. And they're all like, "Oh my gosh, we know her." It was
really?
Yeah. So she went from shy and timid to dancing on stage as she was a stripper. And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I can't believe it." And I'm thinking, good for her. I mean, she was quiet.
Stepped out of her comfort zone.
Yeah, she stepped way out of her comfort zone. And
it was a little over the line, but
she
okay.
found herself by being able to control her own body. And I was really happy for her. I know that sounds crazy, but
well, it is kind of crazy, but on the other hand, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I tell a lot of my speakers that come through me for coaching is go out and sing karaoke, go out and take an improv class, go out, do things that make you move like you don't want to move, or speak out like you don't want to speak out, because it feeds your energy, it feeds your confidence, so that it's like, oh, if I can dance, then I can definitely say that on stage. Oh, if I can sing in front of people, I can definitely talk in front of people. It helps you get a perspective of your fear. And I always say, get out of your comfort zone.
Go the number one fear of all human beings, speaking in public.
Not mine.
Not mine either.
Yeah, so it's not the number. It's one of the.
Good there.
Yeah, it's pretty high up on the list for most people. But just you're no good. You're no good. You're no good. Get that out of your brain. They may be no good for you, but they're good for someone else. I mean, I've had back to the marriage thing where a friend got divorced, and she was so upset that her ex-husband had found somebody new. And I said, good for him. She said, what do you mean good for him? I said, good for you. She says, what do you mean? I said, now you don't have to put up with it. And you can smile that everything he learned from you made him a better husband for her.
Okay, so let's go off track.
Okay.
Let's go back to our 80s theme.
Okay.
That we did the other day for the radio show.
Gnarly stuff?
Our gnarly stuff. So what was one of the things out of the 80s, those fads that you wanted to keep, that you wish was still around?
Oh, I said it on the show.
I know you did, but let's go here.
Happy songs. Just like Bruno Mars songs, those happy, oh, I want to dance with somebody. Just happy songs. No raunchiness, no dirtiness. Just
You never read the words, did you?
No, I know. But before, I mean, in the 80s, they inferred things and they had different meanings. Nowadays, you're listening. Carefree. Nowadays, I can't sing a lot of songs that are modern because they do F, 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 B, B. I can't, I don't swear. Okay. So I'm trying to sing songs and put new words in all the bad words. And I'm like, you know what? I won't sing them because it's just easier for me not to swear.
Mm-hmm.
I miss, and I wish they could bring back the fun songs where they can have all the innuendos. Every song has an innuendo. You can go back into the 1930s, 1920s.
Oh, yeah.
And go into the chapel and where. Yeah, there's so many things that are always inferred in music. But nowadays, they're not inferred anymore. Now they're just
blatant.
In your face. I like the inferredness. I like the fun and the happy-go-luckiness. That's what I'd like to bring back from the 80s.
And which fad would you not want to come back?
Leggings. Not stockings. No, the little eggs.
See, you went off track on that one. No, you didn't go off track. I went off track because the only thing I could think of was the leg warmers. Is that what you mean by leggings? Because
no,
you guys were
stockings.
Like pantyhose.
Pantyhose, stockings. I cannot stand them. And
they have their point in life.
I'm glad they're gone.
Just ask your NFL players when it's cold outside.
Yeah, the only time I believe in leggings is when it's 20 degrees in Colorado and I have to walk down some street to get to something and it's cold. And
yeah, but leggings are different than they used to be.
Leggings are thicker than nylons. But I remember going to work because it was mandatory when in the 80s you had to go to work, you had to have stockings on. And I worked in a bank. And I remember always having to carry a bottle of clear nail polish because you would snag them and they'd start running down your leg and you have to put nail polish to stop them. And
I never had that experience, but I had
hated
girlfriends
them.
and wives that did.
Yeah, I hated
Wife
those
that
things.
did.
So what about you? What do you want? What would you have liked to have kept in the 80s or wish it was back?
I don't remember what I said. I was trying to sit here and think about what I
You
said.
detoured off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how about what do you?
I remember the one thing I didn't like was the rolled up pant legs.
That's what you didn't like.
The rolled up cuffs. I mean, everybody else said that they wore them and everything. I don't really remember them. I thought they were more of a 50s thing, but
No, they came back in the 80s.
I don't remember where my pants rolled up on
The
purpose.
other thing I don't miss from the 80s was Aquanet.
Aquanet.
Yeah, because they would feather their hair and they do that, and I couldn't feather my hair.
And they say it's not the same as it used to be.
No, it's not as strong. But the 80s, back in the 80s, we didn't have like the flat irons and things like that. So for me to be able to feather my hair, okay, I've got crazy curly hair. My sister would put out an ironing board and we would we had really long hair. We'd put our hair on the ironing board.
Seen that
and then
one done.
she would iron my hair flat to make it straight. And then I would try to Aquanet it. Oh, what a nightmare. And now
you're the one who wanted straight hair.
And now I have my curly hair and I enjoy it.
Now you just buy a straight iron.
Well, because back then it was the thing to have Farrah Fawcett hair.
Oh my God, the feathered back.
I'm Blasian, so there was no feathering of my hair. I had Shaka Khan hair, and so but back then it was like, oh, that's so crazy. But yeah,
go back and look at my hair when I was a kid.
Looks the same.
Looks almost the same.
Yeah.
Almost the same. I was like that all the way up until high school, and like my sophomore, junior year, I decided to let it grow, and it got down to below my ears. But
I always had a ponytail.
And then I turned around, by the time it got that long, I went to the military, and they shaved it off on day one.
So I had a ponytail that was like about 3 inches thick, and I would have it in one ponytail down my.
I would have looked funny in a ponytail.
But yeah, I miss the 80s, and I'm glad that we do have some things that actually have come back, and that the bright colors and the fun and the beads and the bracelets, we were always into
the 80s were fun, but I have a tendency to lean more towards the 70s. Mm-hmm. I mean, I grew up during that time frame. I was a small kid. But during the 70s, I remember things like the bicentennial in 1976. And
you complained about Madonna.
I liked Madonna.
You said something about she was such the trend center that was what you said you did. Yeah, you liked about the fashions and the craziness, and people were just doing what they wanted to.
Well, the 80s music was, and that's kind of where I was at too. The 80s music was so much cooler than the 90s.
Yeah.
The 90s has got some good stuff in it, but that's where I quoted Steven Tyler.
Oh, we're digressing.
Yeah.
Oops.
I'm not too worried about the topic at this point.
Oh, you're no good, you're no good, you're no good.
But see, I grew up on that.
On topic.
I grew up on that. That was country music.
Oh.
It wasn't, but it was.
Oh, well, I was listening to Michael Jackson and Jackson 5, so.
So that was 70s.
Yeah. No, Michael Jackson was 80s.
Well, he started in the 60s, but
yeah. But anyways, we digress again. But think about relationships. Let them go. Let them be. Go be you. Go be the best version of you unapologetically. Just get a little
and don't
better.
think that you're no good. Sometimes it's the other person. Most of the time, it's the other person.
And usually, it takes two to not be good together.
Do the tango.
Yeah, it takes two to tango. So always look at yourself in the relationship when you think so and so was so terrible. Blah blah blah. Look at your piece in that puzzle. What did you do in that relationship? Did you antagonize it? Did you make it worse? Or, what? How did you play a part in it? And in some relationships, or in some horrible relationships, you're not part of it at all. You're just the victim. But see where you play a part in it so that you can take control in your own mind on how you cannot make it happen again. Okay.
As we said in the 80s, word
to your mother. Ow.
Word up.
Word
to your mother.
Word to your mother. No, I had Ice Baby go through my head, and then I made a movement that my back did not care for.
Oh, don't do that.
Okay. So anyways, since no one's joined us today, which is really weird. We're lost. Are we good? What's wrong?
Nothing.
Oh, he's going to play the intro and the outro. Is that what you're doing?
Yep. There we
Okay.
go.
Well, thanks for watching this replay since you're not here live. And be sure to share on whatever platform you find us on. And like. We need the
Like,
thumbs
comment,
up.
share.
Because we keep traveling the world and people say, oh, I've watched your show. We love it. And I'm like, I've never seen you on our platform.
Comment.
So comment. Say something.
Comment. Like.
Say, hey, you, fix your shirt. You know, Brian won't let me wear this. Yeah, I was wearing
Hey.
so I have to wear my sweater.
Wait a minute. That gets us viewers. You should have done it at the beginning.
Oh, I should.
It
I think it's summer in Colorado right now, and it's not. Okay, so
is, except for in my basement. It's cold.
okay, are you ready?
I suppose.
We've completely squirreled.
It's been fun though.
So also check out that 101 Gnarly, Driving with Your Eyes Closed. Mark was pretty awesome. Magic Mark was pretty awesome. Anything else?
Yeah, we'll have to post that out there as soon as we get a copy of it.
Okay.
It's not out there yet.
Gnarly
But
101.
follow Gnarly 101 or gnarly101.com.
Driving with Your Eyes Closed. And we'll talk to you next week. Bat time, same bat channel. And hopefully
You're gonna be here next Friday?
No.
Well, we'll see you next week though.
I'll be here next Friday. I leave
Yeah.
right after us. So anyways,
Oh.
have a great day, everybody. Have a great week and enjoy yourself. And have that song running through your head. You're no good, you're no good, you're no good.
Baby, you're no good.
And if you don't know who Linda Ronstadt is, look her up. She's got an amazing voice.
Most people know Blue Bayou.
Blue Bayou, yeah.
Blue Bayou.
No,
Yeah.
that's not one you want to start at. No, it's where the fishing boats with their sails and floats. Yeah, you can't just start with that.
Oh, peace. Don't forget to like and share. We love you all.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.